So last time where I last left off, it was a another interesting part per se. So the Beatrice, the spirit itself, you know, decided to possess the body of Yasu just to perform magecraft, just to get back at both Belne and Asne. So it was kind of weird per se, but at the same time, it benefited Yasu to where Yasu rather prefer the path that the person wanted rather than live up to the boring lifestyle. Because usually, so that's the weird thing, right? Yasu wanted to be a competent servant, but at the same time, like I always get this feeling that with all the obnoxiousness and all the bullshit that the person went through, that you might as well leave the most boring and jaded reality to start a new leaf of the such. And that is where um Sayo made it not Sayo, the Yasu made a negotiation with the red wearing witch to become to take to get a get a hold of the title of the name Beatrice, in which that's the thing, right? In which in which the tealish, whitish haired girl Beatrice would, adopted the name, create a different world. Because normally Yasu's the only good friend is Shannon, although however, you know, that is just all and gone, and now the world is now different due to that sort of creation. So now we're on the one without, with Shannon being alone this time. Natsuki was even more high-strung than normal and walked about barking orders here and there, obviously. Even though the sky was beginning to get dark, the servants moved hurriedly about. Tomorrow is the annual family conference. It isn't particularly rare for each of the individual families to visit the island, but this is the only time that they all come together. It was the most important day of the year for both the Ushiromiya family and Rokujima. Natsuki, who was short-tempered on top of being high-strung, kept ordering that the servants redo this or that, since it really didn't look good after all. This would keep them going until late into the night. Now that Shannon had many years of experience and Natsuki had put her in a position of responsibility, she was called over many times to have strict orders showered on her. Hey, it's just like episode 1 and 2. So when Shannon finished her shower and lay down on the bed in the servant waiting room, she fell asleep almost immediately. Okay. Just your typical being overworked. I can hear the sound of wind coming from somewhere far away. It's a bit different from the sound wind outside a room would make. It's almost as though I'm sitting in a deck chair in the rose garden, turning over in my sleep, with the feel of the wind in my hair. Excuse me. Fucking allergies coming back again. The wind of the feel the wind in my hair. That's right, the feel. This isn't a sound, it's a feeling. If that's so, then is this a dream? Just as I was about to accept this theory, I thought I heard someone talking to me. Maybe it's just your imagination. My, my. It seems the work of a servant is just as boring as it ever was. Not only boring, but difficult, strict, constraining, joyless. All you get in return for your years of service is some level of respect from the newer servants. And even that is far from sufficient to repay you for all the hard work you've done. True.
もういい加減飽きはせぬか、その生活に。
Huh? Who? She wasn't just imagining someone talking to her. She was shocked to find that it was real. When Shannon opened her eyes, she gulped.
ここは
It's like we entered into another land. This seems like it's the meta world. She couldn't say any more. She was literally stunned silent. Shannon, who had been sleeping on a bed, was somehow in a rose garden. However, though this rose garden somehow resembled the rose garden on Rokujima, it was also completely different. After all, the roses were golden, and it wasn't just the flowers, but the dancing butterflies too. It was a golden rose garden of mysterious beauty. Somehow, Shannon was sitting in the chair under the arbor. It was as though she'd taken a nap there and woken up from a dream, but it felt strange. Is this golden rose garden a dream? For some strange reason, it felt as though my entire life up to this point had been a dream, and that I had finally awakened here.
ようこそシャノン、我が黄金のバラ庭園へ。
There was that voice again. Shannon looked around to find who it was. As she did, a golden butterfly landed on the seat across from her and instantly created a human form. Oh,
久しぶりであるな、シャノン。元気であったか？まあ、元気であったろうな。わらわは毎日、そなたたちを観察しているのだから。
that's so weird. This woman laughed as though she was an old friend of Shannon's. However, Shannon obviously didn't remember this strange gold rose garden, and she didn't even remember this person's face either.
そうだったな。そなたはわらわをもはや覚えてはおらぬのだったな。
私はあなたを忘れているのですか？
Maybe.
だったらごめんなさい。
謝るには及ばぬ。そのようにしたのだから、そなたの罪ではない。名乗ろう。わらわは黄金の魔女、ベアトリーチェ。
ベアトリーチェ様。親方様が口にされる後宮家の恩人の。
そのベアトリーチェではない。六軒島の夜を支配する黄金の魔女のベアトリーチェである。そなたが日々敬意を忘れぬ館のもう一人の主であるぞ。
あなたがベアトリーチェ様。
And it's kind of weird to get used to this kind of Beatrice, but this time it's like it's not blonde hair, blue eyes. It's like light lime green. It's like light greenish hair and blue eye now.
怯えずともよい。わらわとそなたはもともとは同じ仲間。いやいや、 ルームメイトだったではないか。
Roommates. Gee, I wonder how that goes.
わらわはそなたに憧れ、日々使用人の仕事に励んでいたこともあったのだ。
私はずっと一人部屋で、ルームメイトは。
別れの時、そなたの記憶を奪った。しかしわらわはそなたとルームメイトだったことを忘れぬ。そしてそなたとの友情をわらわの方から一方的に破棄し、立ち去ったことも忘れはせぬ。
Yeah, you decided to part ways by burning the bridge and just leave.
だからこそ一人残すそなたに悲しみを与えぬために、わらわとの日々の記憶も世界も全てを消し去ったのだ。分かろうとしないでよい。ただこれだけは信じよ。わらわはそなたに危害を加えるためにここに呼んだのではない。
ここは私の夢の中ではないのですか？
夢の中と思ってよい。厳密には眠ったそなたの魂を我が庭園に招いたのだ。そなたをこの世界の住人に招くために。
Beatrice snapped her fingers, and a storm of gold butterflies all rose up around the rose garden. As the cloud of butterflies danced over the table, a gorgeous tea set appeared. There were teacups in the teapot, more elegant even than those used by the Ushiromiya family. The tea was filled to the brim and had a sweet rose scent, one which Shannon had never smelled before. Before there was even time to be amazed by that scent, butterflies started gathering one by one on the table and a tea stand sprouted right out of it. It was like watching a magical mushroom from a fairy tale kingdom grow out of the ground. It was a many-layered tea stand filled with beautiful cakes, like edible jewels. Of course, there were also several lovely light brown scones. The honey truly was golden honey, with bits of gold leaf dancing through it.
後ろ宮家も時にティーパーティーを開くようだが、わらわのそれとは比べ物にもなるまい。
すごい。こんなの見たことありません。
見たことがあろうとも、それは給仕をする立場からであろうが、そなたはわらわの友人。給仕の必要はないぞ。何しろわらわは魔女。
Can make anything come true, huh?
給仕は間に合っているのでな。さあ、遠慮することはない。好きなだけ頬張るがよい。
Stuff yourself to their heart's content? Oh boy.
Uh,
I don't know about that one.
ありがとうございます。
She's like, her face is like, I don't know how I could feel about this. That was all Shannon managed to say. Or, that was all Shannon managed to say. It would be hard for anyone to say much more than being suddenly invited to such a beautiful witch tea party.
まずは紅茶からどうか。ミルクは新鮮、砂糖もそのままかじりたくなるほどの上物よ。しかしまずは最初はストレートを進めたい。バラの花びらをほんの一枚浮かべるだけで、もう二度と人の世の紅茶など飲めなくなってしまうに違いないぞ。
I mean, tea is tea. I mean, I enjoy just... You know, that's kind of the weird thing with the debate. See, that's the funny thing, right? There's always this weird like discussion I had between like coffee and tea, and I usually drink both, but I'm always like, every day I wake up to, I'm always a coffee person, no matter what. You know, a coffee addict, as most people would, use their nicknames per se. Laughing happily, Beatrice opened not a sugar pot, but a rose petal pot, picked up a single crimson petal, and floated it on her tea after relishing its scent. Shannon did the same, picking up a single petal and smelling its aroma.
なんて素敵な香り。
I'm actually curious, like, do they put rose petals within tea? Because I never actually tried like a traditional like way of drinking tea, but I've drank like tea before, so.
これは本当にこの世のバラの香りなの？
喜んでもらえて嬉しい。わらわが紅茶に浮かべるためだけに品種改良を重ねたバラだ。すりつぶしてジャムにしてもこれがまた絶品でな。スコーンにもこの上なくよく合う。試してみるか？
あ、じゃあ少しだけ。
Shannon had been invited to this witch tea party suddenly. However, the witch seemed so truly innocent, and her smile as she played the hostess was so happy that it made Shannon want to smile too. The tension in Shannon's heart gradually faded, and she started to enjoy her chat with this witch.
使用人の仕事も大変であろうな。
Yeah, well, no shit.
わらわもよく覚えているぞ。礼拝堂の窓枠の掃除がとにかく面倒であった。
驚きました。あなたも使用人として働いていたことがあるのですか？
短い間だ。覚えておらぬだろうが、そなたと共に働いていたのだぞ。
What the fuck do you mean by for a short time? I'm pretty sure you've been working for about over a year or so.
わらわはドジで物をよくなくす愚か者。そなたはわらわの憧れる理想の使用人であった。
なのに私が覚えていなくて本当にごめんなさい。
Well, to be fair, she erased your memory, so you might as well be an amnesiac at this point.
それを詫びる必要はない。ここではそなたは使用人ではなく、わらわの友人であり客人だ。ここでは何の不自由もない、何の苦労も退屈もない。そなたが望むすべてのものを与えることができるのだ。今やわらわにはそれだけの力がある。それに至ったことをそなたには知らせたかったのだ。
何の取り柄もない私をこんなに素敵なおもてなしで歓待してくださって本当にありがとうございます。
辛き日々を今日まで耐え忍んだそなたへの褒美であると、そう思えばよい。さあ、黄金の蝶たちよ、わらわの友人を退屈させるでないぞ。軽やかな舞を見せるがいい。それに飽きたなら楽団を呼び出し、そなたの好きな曲を何でも演奏させよう。それにも飽きたなら勝者なる使い魔たちに種なし手品を披露させてやろうぞ。安心せよ、ここでの時間は無限。 そしてそなたの願いもまたわらわが無限に叶える。わらわの茶会に終わりはないのだ。
You know, it does feel weird for Beatrice to be all cheery and carefree. Because I'm always so used to the Beatrice that comes off as like, you know, jaded and very menacing. But you know, this is just the start. You know, for episode 7 to be this way, I'm not surprised. You know? In a truly good mood, the witch told Shannon several strange stories. They were all stories Shannon had never heard before. Very interesting stories. And they were all odd, bizarre fairy tales. Shannon felt as though she had become Alice in Wonderland. The time she spent at this tea party was strange, pleasant, and relaxed. No, the clocks have no hands at this tea party. So the time passed like a Sunday morning when you can wrap yourself in your blanket for as long as you want.
本当にこんな素敵な時間を与えてくださり感謝します。
礼はいらぬ。なぜなら人の世で礼は別れの言葉を兼ねるのであろう。この茶会に終わりはない。だから礼も必要がない。
でも感謝します。ベアトリーチェ様、こんな素敵なお茶会を本当にありがとうございます。でも終わらない夢はないように、この夢も終わらないといけません。
ほう。
Uh-oh.
なぜに終わらねばならぬのか。
明日も早いので、いつまでもここでおしゃべりをしていたら、私はお寝坊をして奥様に大目玉をもらってしまいます。
She's like, huh, work?
なぜにわざわざ短気な夏日のいる世界へ帰りたがるというのか。
What? She's like, why do you want to go back to work and deal with that short-tempered, higher up?
いやいや、労を多くして何のねぎらいもない人間の世界へなぜにわざわざ帰ろうというのか。
You know, that's the funny thing, right? Like, where it's all work and no rewards? I mean, doesn't shit... Wait, it's weird. Like, it says in the dialogue earlier that you could get paid, right? But I guess, you know... Okay, I wouldn't be surprised with working as a servant within the Ushiromiya family. I wouldn't be surprised. The way you get paid is just fucking minimum wage at this point. So I guess you can sort of make the argument that it's equivalent to no reward.
私人間ですし。
And it doesn't help that, you know, you don't really get as much, you know, breaks in between.
いつまでもここでお世話にはなれません。
Shannon.
Pretty poor analogy, like comparing like minimum wage to like, you know, working your ass off in the Ushiromiya family while not getting rewarded. Or not getting as much reward, say.
そなたは勘違いをしているようだ。わらわはそなたを招いたが、追い返すような真似はしない。ここでの時間は永遠だ。そなたが別れを切り出さねばならぬ義理などない。わらわはそなたとどれだけ茶会を共にしようとも飽きぬぞ。 むしろそなたという話し相手が実に心地よい。
お言葉は嬉しいですけど、私は人間。自分の世界に帰らなくちゃいけません。
She's like, listen, I appreciate everything that you did, but I identify myself as a human.
家人にこき使われ、日々を学校と仕事だけに費やす何の彩りもない世界に、なぜわざわざ帰るというのか。
Why do you want to return to that colorless world where you waste all your time with school and your job, the family, and the family works you to the bone?
それでもそこが私の世界ですし。
All right. Yasu inherited all of the memories to Shannon, to where Shannon has to rely on the work-life balance, huh?
シャノン、
I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
そのような世界がそなたの世界である必要があるというのか。率直に言おう。シャノン、わらわはそなたを招いたのではない。迎えに来たのだ。
迎え？
かつてそなたのような良き使用人を目指し、そして魔女の世界に憧れ、使用人から魔女となったわらわは、もはや魔法の閲楽を知り尽くす境地に至った。だからそなたを迎えに来たのだ。
Beatrice spoke quietly and slowly rose from her seat.
シャノン、やはり使用人よりも魔女の世界の方がずっと楽しいぞ。この茶会など旧友とのほんの挨拶代わりでしかない。わらわとそなたが望めば望んだ数だけ、いくらでも楽しき催しは繰り広げられる。それこそ無限に、永遠に。
I kind of wait a minute. Let me scroll up. I kind of understand. I think I kind of understood the premise of the whole, like, when she made the statement of, like, why do you want to return to the colorless world? Because when they refer to the colorless world, is like, why do you want to go back to the play? Why do you want to go back to the routine where you're gonna wallow up in your own misery, and you don't get? Why do you want to work? You know, why do you want to do things that come off as soul sucking to yourself and don't get any sort of reward or compensation? You know? So again, you know, the analogy, this sort of an analogy, it could be like you can make any sort of analogy to that. So anyway,
この黄金のバラ庭園を完成させた今、
because it's actually
わ
interesting.
らわは至ったのだ。
It's actually kind of some sort of interesting philosophy. I always think, see, again, like, I remember, like, I always refer to, like, talk to myself as be like, this is actually some sort of interesting philosophy behind this. To whole, like, you know.
こここそが理想郷。そう、ここを黄金の理想郷と名付けよう。その完成に至ったからこそ、そなたを迎えに来たのだ。もう何の不自由も忍耐も努力も必要ない。ここでそなたとわらわは永遠にいつまでも楽しく過ごすのだ。まるで終わりのないおとぎ話のようにな。
That's kind of the thing, right? It's like, because I kind of understood the Yasu's preference, like, So Yasu doesn't really like this how colorless the world is, where it's how soul sucking it is. So they rather, you know, create an ideology and create a world to where like you want to live in happiness forever or something like that. In which I kind of understand why, but and I kind of understood why how it work how that this can work within fiction where you want to be where you want everything to be like all like happy and easygoing. A lot of the times, like it usually doesn't make any sense within a certain reality, but hmm.
素敵な申し出を本当にありがとうございます。でも私は元の世界へ帰らなくてはなりません。
なぜに？
And she's like, I must look. What do you mean why? She has to go back to work.
ここは私の世界ではありませんので。
それは認める。
I love that weird look on her face.
これまではそなたの世界ではなかった。だからわらわが招くのだ。これよりここはわらわとそなたの世界となる。そなたはもう客人ではない。この世界のもう一人の主となるのだ。わらわにも何の遠慮も無用。この無限の世界でかつてルームメイトだった時のように過ごすだけの話。
その記憶がないことが私はとても残念です。でもそのお招きはお断りしたいと思います。
Now, this is the thing though, right here. Shannon recalls having no memory, so she's like so it could be either a sense of amnesia or Yasu's mistake of removing the memories and the presence of it in the bed. That's the kind of a
なぜに
uh-oh.
そなたに人間の世界に戻らねばならぬどんな義務がどんな義理があるというのか。
What pseudo-intellectual gives you the fucking responsibility to force you to return to the world of humans? True, the world of humans or the world of servants is busy all the time. Madam is strict, high-strung, and has a short temper. It'd be a lie if I said the everyday chores weren't a pain. And having to balance work with school makes it even harder. Beatrice had watched over Shannon's painful days the whole time. She had seen those constantly tired shoulders heave in a sigh over and over. That was why she had invited Shannon here, to this golden paradise. She had tried to give Shannon a perfect welcome, to truly make her happy. So why had Shannon selected her original world over this one? Beatrice was overcome with shock and completely unable to understand. She is unable to comprehend as to why Shannon wants to prefer the original world where everything is soul-sucking than the place where you can just relax eternally.
この理想郷にてわらわはそなたに対し最高のもてなしをした。そしてそれはこれからもそれ以上の楽しい日々が続く。
You know, that's the funny thing. Like, if this is like the sort of eternal paradise where you just sit down, have a tea party with Beatrice the entirety of your life, like, she might as well be your fucking your therapist or of the sort. A therapist that no one can that A therapist that doesn't really judge you. I mean, I guess there are some therapists out there that can judge you for like based on your like some sort of rambling and shit. But I'm pretty sure in terms of a character when it comes to her, pretty sure she doesn't judge you for something really retarded. I mean, I guess it really depends on the scenario, what you say. So there's that. Anyway,
なのに、それでも人間の世界を選ぶそなたには、人間の世界にて魔女の閲楽以上の楽しさがあるというのか。
はい。人間の世界にだって魔法に負けないくらい楽しいことがあります。
normally I guess my excuse would be video games in the human world. Like, I guess technology is even more, you know. That's the scary part. As of right now, technology has been like advancing further and further to where like it's sort of magical in a way, but I don't know.
バカな。あるわけがない。
いいえ、あります。
How? She didn't even give it reasons to why. Shannon's expression was soft. However, her words were firm. There was something wonderfully fascinating in the human world. And that something was apparently not in this paradise where everything was supposedly just as they wanted it.
バカな。わからぬ。わからぬ。
As Beatrice muttered, she shifted restlessly several times. However, no matter how often she said it, Shannon's smile didn't falter, and Beatrice couldn't think of an answer.
では、私はこれで失礼します。お茶、本当に美味しかったです。
わからぬ。わからぬ。わらわは全てを無限に手に入れられる偉大なる黄金の魔女。そのわらわにそなたは手に入れられぬものがあるとそう申すのか。
はい。
知りたい。全てを手に入れたと信じるわらわが未だ手に入れておらぬものとは何なのか教えよ。
She just slams on the table, just like, "Listen, give me the critique that is something that I lack. Damn it."
多分、あなたはもうそれをご存知と思います。だから私をここへ招いてくれたのではないですか？
魔女を煙に巻くというのか。
You ever? That's so weird. But do you see the sweat drop that is glitching on when during the lip sync right there? That's actually
ではこれで。ここに住むことはできませんが、お茶会にお誘いくださった時には必ずお伺いしようと思います。
もう呼ばぬわ。安心するがよい。
Uh-oh. Well, now you made her disappointed. Beatrice snapped her fingers, and Shannon popped out of existence. Shannon's soul had returned to the dream of her original self. While humans have many dreams in a night, they can remember none of them. The tea party in this paradise, mixed in with many other dreams, had vanished. The next morning, Shannon would not remember this tea party. However, Shannon's cup remained here. The witch who had lost her guest and was standing alone looked all the more lonely. No words. The witch dug her fingernails into the tablecloth. That grimace, as she bit her lower lip, made it clear that she still hadn't solved the puzzle Shannon had left behind. What
ビー
puzzle?
チェ、
What the fuck puzzle?
気にすることないわよ。
Oh, I keep forgetting that she's still here. The no name. A black hole opened above Shannon's empty seat, and the owner of that voice fell out of it.
気にもする。ああもガツンと言われてはな。
夜明けも近いから、早く睡眠に戻りたいだけだったんじゃない？
わらわが知らず、そしてシャノンが知る閲楽とは何か。わらわの理想郷になくて、人間の世界にのみある何かとは何か。わからぬ。知りたい。
難しいこと考えたって、頭痛の種に水をやるだけだわ。シャノンの代わりなら、私が務めてあげる。私たちで楽しくお茶会を過ごしましょうよ。
It depends on what kind of service you want to do in her place.
もう茶会の気分ではない。
Oh, damn. She's a little grumpy now.
そなたとの茶会はもう飽きた。
She's a little mad.
あらあら、釣れないわ。
No kidding. The witch shrugged and laughed, then took a bite out of a scone. She then blew into it, and it swelled up like a balloon, before finally popping. Golden ribbons and butterflies flew out, but Beatrice didn't appear to notice.
一体何をわらわは持たぬというのか。何を。
What is it that she does not possess? What is this hidden riddle or hidden nonsense?
どうぞお足元にお気をつけになって。
ありがとう船長さん。お体本当に大事になさってね。
わしの友人にな、肩こりによく効くっちゅうのを商ってるのがおるんや。
Oh, we got good old Hideyoshi. So we are back within, I assume, 1984 or 1986, whatever.
次の時試供品もらってくるで。
いえいえ、お気遣いをありがとうございます。
ほらガキども、いつまではしゃぎ回ってやがる。とっとと降りろい。
ほらマリア、ママと一緒にお船を降りましょうね。
Fucking Rudolph. Maria, who Rosa led by the hand, was still too young for kindergarten. However, she seemed to notice that her cousins, whom she rarely ever saw, were playing all around her, and she was very excited. Badler and George had the energy of middle school, or nearly middle school kids. Those two, along with Jessica, who had met them on Nijima, were clambering about on the boat.
アスム、大丈夫か？お前は本当に乗り物がダメだな。
Asumu? Rudolph lent an arm to his wife, Asumu.
ようこそ六軒島へ。
That's crazy. Asumu is alive in this episode? This particular episode, that is? That's wild. What the actual hell? This is the cold hard truth to go through.
長旅を大変お疲れ様でございました。
The whole family had gathered for the conference. At this point in time, Rudolph's wife was still a sumo, and Angie hadn't been born. Oh, Angie's not there? Oh, interesting. Goda and Cannon hadn't yet been employed by the Ushiromiya family, and the witch's epitaph, which would toy with the family's fate, hadn't appeared yet. They probably couldn't even imagine the bizarre crime that they would encounter several years later. Unless...
旦
Oh,
那様、奥様、親族の方々がご到着なさいました。
では、私は親父殿に声をかけてくるとしよう。
お願いします。私は皆様方をお迎えします。あ、シャノン！この窓枠を掃除したのは誰ですか？まだ誇りがあるではありませんか。
good old uptight shit, Natsuki.
大急ぎで拭きなさい。
かしこまりました、奥様。
Oh, come on. Natsuki's making her work so hard again. Just what good does she find in such a limited, ulcer-inducing life? I wanted to know. Shannon, what is it that you found? And what did you mean when you said I already knew what I was missing? Shannon, is this something I must learn by learning about you?
親族会議の日の六軒島は普段と何が違うのだろう。
それは絶対賑やかさ。これだけの子供が集まることはないものね。
Is this what is, that's a good question. What is the person missing? Happiness? Do you think that do I think is it because like the only thing that Beatrice was aiming for is nihilism? Or does Beatrice think the real world is devoid of nihilism?
大人たちにとっては緊張感を強いられる日だったろうけれど。
Oh, it's fucking George.
僕たち子供にとっては仲良しのいとこたちと一度に会える素敵な日だったね。
True.
夏はいとこたちで海ではしゃいだし、冬は冬でいろいろゲームをして遊んだっけ。
Oh, it's fucking Battler.
俺たちにとっては親族会議ってのは楽しいもんだったぜ。
That's crazy. Normally, Battler isn't a fan of having been dragged into those conferences.
それは私もだぜ。母さんなんかは粗相があってはダメとかうるさかったけど、私にとってもいとこみんなで遊べる楽しい日だった。何しろ普段の六軒島には何もねえんだから。
すげえお屋敷に住んでたり、プライベートビーチがあったり。ガキの頃は羨ましいと思ってたけど。
You were always jealous of Jessica getting to live in this huge mansion with a private beach.
ジェシカの身になって考えると、さぞや窮屈だったと思うぜ。
Obviously.
だろうね。六軒島には本当に何もない。友達の家もお隣もご近所もない。ジェシカちゃんの気持ちを考えると少し気の毒に思うよ。
Well, yeah, because the fucking remote island of Rokkenjima is just nothing but fucking forest and all that shit. Just a guest house, a fucking mansion. Like, there isn't like much recreational like buildings that that could be prospered a bit more and more. I mean, in most cases, in some islands, you could probably like build something to make it so it could prosper. But other than that, it's just your typical remote island or a rich family island in a way.
だから私にとっては親族会議の日は本当に特別な日。はしゃいでふざけて、まるでお祭りの日みたいな気持ちだった。徹底的に悪ふざけの限りを尽くしたぜ。
大人たちは小難しい話ばかりで、あっちで遊んでなさいってことになったなら。
年の近いいとこたちが3人。はしゃぎ回らないわけがない。
いや、3人じゃない。4人だったよ。
Oh, because you're including Maria.
エンジェは生まれてないし、マリアはまだ一緒に遊べるような年じゃないわ。
違うよ、フルフル。年が近いのはいとこだけじゃないよ。
シャノンちゃんだよ。
Shannon was the fourth?
彼女も俺らと同じくらいの年だったからな。
That's the weird part about this episode. Why exclude Angie? Is Angie like what was Angie sort of the lack of importance within this episode? Or is it because within, Yasu's tale, or like, the counterpart, or there, I mean, there is also the counterpart, but I guess, is it because of Leon that Angie doesn't exist, but without Leon, Angie does? I know I have a huge wall of a YouTube comment explaining to me how Leon works in the episode 7, but I haven't gone over it yet. At some point I will.
母さんが使用人のことは話すなとうるさかったけれど、私とシャノンは少しずつ交流を深めていったよ。六軒島で最も年が近い唯一の女の子だったんだから。
僕たちとシャノンの4人は仲良しだったんだ。親族会議の時はいつも楽しく遊んでいたよ。ね、シャノン。
はい。奥様に知られればお叱りを受けることと分かってはおりましたが。
叱らせなんかしねえぜ。シャノンはずっと私の気持ちを唯一理解してくれる親友だったぜ。
ありがとうございます、お嬢様。
Well, interesting per se, but we'll just leave it off from here. So, what do we got? We saw chapter 13, which is the new element. So, what do we got? Beatrice wanted to invite Shannon here to say like, hey, let's enjoy being friends like we did just like old times. But unfortunately, while, Beatrice wanted to create within an alternate, thing to prefer her way of happiness, Shannon decided to refuse. I'd rather go back to the old human ways of the sort. I don't know, but we'll see. That was the kind of thing, because I already rambled on like earlier before. But next part, we'll see how the family conference will turn out with this, especially with this particular episode. So with that said, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Take care.